So what the fuck is going on here?
Rachel's father is a being called Trigon. And if we can't stop him here, he'll destroy your world. Then move on, destroying countless others. Our scripture states Trigon can only fully inhabit your world after he breaks Rachel's heart.
We're talking metaphors, right?
We don't know. But if we don't get through that force field and into the house in there, I'm afraid we're never gonna find out.
Kid should have asked us to get fucking Superman.
And here we go. It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will bow down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies.
Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nerds the New Bully. I'm your host Leroy with my co-host.
This is Eli, the Violator.
Oh yeah, that sounds so wrong. I think we just got flagged for saying it. I'm Leroy, aka Pace Pie Pete. I don't know. Just make up some shit.
Oh, you weren't gonna give yourself a Wu-Tang name?
Oh yeah, I should have. Oh, fuck.
Fuck,
Oh.
I did. You know what? I did a Wu-Tang name back in the day. You know that generator.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So
And,
so what was your? Because you know that's supposed to be like once you do that, that's your name for life. You know. You
yeah,
can't change
I think it was like Drunken Madman, which I thought, what the fuck? I don't drink, but okay.
Because I mean, it's an old story, but that's how Childish Gambino got his name. You know,
Yeah.
from the Wu generator. So I've never done it before. I've never heard of a Wu generator before, but I guess that's pretty cool. I will call myself Iron Lung.
There you go.
There we go.
You don't even smoke. I thought you don't smoke.
I don't. It just sounds cool, you know.
It sounds cool, or you're like really, really sick.
Yeah, one or the other. It's like, yeah, Eli. It's Sunday. Well, technically it's not Sunday, but it's Monday. But are you ready for some foosball?
I did. I that's what I did all day.
That's what you did all day. You watch football all day.
I did.
See, and that's the thing, Eli. I didn't get the memo, so I don't know if we're still boycotting or not.
Oh, well, you know,
may or may not be. I
I'm
don't know.
anti anything anyone's not. So
So if we're not boycotting, you are boycotting. But if we
yeah.
are boycotting, you're not boycotting.
yeah.
I'm like, can somebody give me a memo? Y'all are late on this, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was at work all day, so I didn't get a chance to watch anything. All I know is that now that football is back, that means Talking Balls is back.
Yeah.
So that means, you know, our reign at the top, Eli, is gone now. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
We was
I
riding the
guess
gravy
so.
train on biscuit wheels.
Yeah.
But now Talking Balls back is just going to destroy our numbers. How is a fucking football podcast going to destroy our podcast, our geek podcast, on a geek website?
We just pulled everybody's geek card right now.
Right.
You know, y'all thought you were nerds. No, you like fucking sports.
Right. That's what you really want. Like you just put it with this other bullshit until Talking Balls comes back. So. All right. Let me say, can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
Let's just get deep into this shit because I'm ready to get to the main course. Okay. So for the box office numbers, Eli, give it to me. What is the #1 movie of the week?
It's got to be it.
It is it. I know you saw it.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
I knew you saw it. I would have bet money on that.
I saw it fucking open at night, yo.
Shoot, talk about it. I don't care. Spoil.
You want me to do the review now, or you want to go
for
through
it.
the list?
Fuck it. I don't care.
Okay, it.
I know nothing about it at all. I know there's a killer clown. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's Pennywise the Killer. So Stephen King's classic novel, very long, epic novel, over 1,000 pages. So this is pretty much one of those books that could sort of seem unfilmable because it's just so massive. Mm-hmm. They tried doing it back in the 90s with like a made-for-TV movie, chopped miniseries, what have you, back in the 90s. It was very cheap, very low budget, very kind of cheesy, but still enough to have an appeal with horror fans because of, I mean, Pennywise is such a strong, iconic horror figure. He just has this appeal with horror audiences. But basically, Stephen King wrote this novel about there's this town of Derry, Maine, where this monster is feeding on children every 27 years. It disguises itself as, it basically can transform into your worst fear. And because he likes to feed on fear. Fear sort of salts the flesh and makes the meat taste tastier. So he likes to scare the shit out of you before he eats you. So he takes the form of your worst nightmare and then proceeds to, eat your ass. He disguises himself as a clown to lure in children. And basically what happens, the book is like, 30 years old. So it takes place in the 50s and the 80s, but this new movie takes place in the 80s and the present now. So chapter 1 was all about.
You mean like 2019?
Yeah, like the present day, 2019.
Cool. Okay.
So basically, back in the 80s, this kid, his brother gets killed, and he's searching for him, and he bands up with this group of outcasts of the town. They're like the nerds of the town. They call themselves the Losers Club, and they basically fight this monster. They find out that this monster is feeding on the town, and they end up fighting it and seemingly destroy it back in the day. But they made a pact to say if he ever comes back, we're going to reunite and kill this thing. So they do. As children, they make a blood pact. And so fast forward to now, chapter 2, Pennywise is back. He's back feeding on the town, causing fucking mayhem. And they all come back to fight it. And so the first movie was all about the adults, or all about the children. This one's about the adults. So I really liked the first one. I was really anticipating this new one. But after watching it, I thought it was okay. It's not as cool as the first movie, and I think I know why. Because all the cool shit happens when they're kids. You know what I mean? And the book is structured like a detective novel, like a mystery. You know what I mean? It kind of jumps back and forth between time periods. And it's structured like a mystery, so it's paced better. So the problem with turning this story in chronological order, all the strong stuff happens when they're kids, and the adult story just isn't as strong. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And the fact that it's a 3-hour movie, it does drag a bit at times.
It's a 3-hour movie.
It's a 3-hour movie.
Shit.
One thing I do like about it is this is like a big budget horror movie. We don't get too many of these. Mostly horror. The horror genre is
matter. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of horror, to make them cheap.
Yeah, horror is usually a low budget genre. You get cheap. The budget goes towards effects and the scares, and you get no name actors and stuff. The budget is there. I like the fact that a big giant Hollywood studio dumped a lot of money into this horror movie. I mean, that's pretty much unheard of. So I like the scope of things, and I think this story needs that. It's required to have that sort of scope and that epic feel, because it's just that big of a story. So I like that. I like the set pieces. There's a lot of generally good, cool horror parts in this movie. It's just, it all comes down to pacing. It lulls at times. It keeps flashing back and sort of starts repeating information, because you get all the information in the first movie. You know what I mean? And they just it just becomes redundant. They're just rehashing stuff we already know in the second movie. So the fact that it's so long, it's like, why is it so long when you're not giving us anything new? So that's my main gripe, is that it comes down to pacing. It feels slow at times. But overall, I still had a good time. There was still some generally creepy parts in the movie. My kids liked it. He even admits that it wasn't as good as the first chapter. He loves the first one. He's got shirts, Pennywise shirts and hats and shit.
It was like a cultural phenomenon, that last one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's Stranger Things, for those who don't know, was inspired by the original novel. The story about a group of kids fighting this monster. you know, because that's the core of the story. That's the appeal of the story. So when they're adults, it's just not that cool. It's not as strong of a tale when they're adults. There's not much there. They're just sort of remembering what happened, and you know, and even throughout the movie, they're flashing back as kids too. So, like I was saying, all the strong narrative is in the first chapter. This is just them sort of dealing with the trauma, you know, more about dealing with the trauma of the past, you know. But overall, I still thought it was cool. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but it was still cool. Yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. I won't go. It's not.
I'm kind of disappointed in that.
I mean, I think it's meant to be watched. I think they're meant to be watched in one sitting. You know what I mean? You know, so this as a movie on its own, it's just nothing without that first chapter. You know, it's just meant. It's it's like Kill Bill. You got to watch them both. You know.
So how long was the first one?
The first one's like 2 hours. It's a little. I think it's a little over, like 2 hours 20 minutes. You know, it's not 3. You know.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm trying to see how much time do I need to invest to watch like both of them back to back.
Yeah,
I haven't seen either one.
Yeah, the first one is cool. Like, you know, the first one's really good. You know, it's done very well, and yeah, I think that it just requires that scope. You know, like I say, the novel's like over 1,000 pages long. You know. And I think what happened, ultimately, there was some stuff, because I've read the book, there was some stuff I would have liked to have seen in the movie.
That's what I was going to ask you, how like close with the adaptation.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's omitted from the novel that I would like. There was stuff I wanted to see that wasn't in the movie. Mm-hmm. So I think that I'm just sort of biased, you know. But it's still cool. Like the crowd I was in was a big packed theater. People were laughing and screaming and jumping and shit. I didn't jump this time. The last one made me jump. This one didn't. I'm pretty jaded. So horror movies don't make me jump like they used to. So I didn't jump this time.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well.
So, but that's just because it's me. I'm just fucking hard. You know, my kid jumped.
I mean, you've seen too much of this shit, so yeah, like you
said.
Yeah,
I can time it. I'm like 3, 2, 1, jump scare. You know, I can. You know, But yeah, I mean, there was still some cool shit. There's a lot of homages to other horror movies and other Stephen King novels. And there's some really gory scenes. Like I'm saying, this is a big, huge, big budget horror movie. And I'm like, wow, this doesn't happen. You don't get to see horror movies of this magnitude ever. And I think that's cool. So
okay, interesting to see where it ends up, because I mean, the first one, made money hand over fist, and this one's the top one, like by far. Nothing else is even close. So
yeah. And the first one has that nostalgia feel, like it takes place in the 80s. It had the 80s soundtrack, the 80s set pieces, the kids riding their bikes, and that whole Stranger Things vibe. I mean, that's like what sells these days. Everyone's riding that wave right now.
Yeah,
and
it seems like it just hit at the right time. Basically. Yeah, and this is present day, 2019. World sucks, we suck these days, so who gives a shit? All right, so basically what happens, okay, so It Chapter 2 was 91 million. Now the next movie after that did 6. Yeah, it did 91 million in the first weekend. The next movie after that did 6.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was Angel Has Fallen. That Nick Nolte movie. Yeah. Good Boys still hanging in there. I read an article the other day. Somebody said that the comedy is dead. I mean, like comedy movies are dead. I've
seen something like that. I think it was a YouTube video.
I think it was a YouTube video. Yeah, I saw it the other day, and it made me think. I was like, because they're basically saying like, like even last decade, like with Superbad and Hangover and all those Seth Rogen movies that came out, all those movies like did huge, and all those guys, made money. But if you make the same type of movie nowadays, it won't make money. You know, even Good Boys is probably like the best case scenario, and even it hasn't even done 100 million yet worldwide.
No. I mean, it's fun, and it does have that type of humor, that potty dick joke, fart joke humor.
Right.
But
It's just that, like remember, like when Austin Powers used to come out, it used to be the biggest movie of the summer. You know, just a flat out comedy. That's it. But nowadays they don't sell. It is kind of weird. It does make you think.
Well, this generation has a shitty sense of humor.
That could be it.
It's all,
Nobody finds anything funny, so you know.
They watch cat videos, you know, that and memes,
and they think that's funny. You're right.
Fail videos, you know.
That's cat videos. They're playing piano, or they're dressed up in some stupid guitar shit or whatever.
Or there's a stick joke. You can't say that.
Right. We talked about all that last.
They're triggered. So. Comedy triggers people.
Yeah, so it's weird. I think it's a topic we need to explore later on. I don't think I have enough data to like really just go into that, but it is something to think about. That it does seem like the comedy genre is just like the Western; it's dead.
Yeah, well, comedy and the comedians aren't doing colleges anymore because protests and all this shit.
Oh, because he said this and he can't come, and
they need safe spaces and shit like that.
So, all right. So we got Good Boys. We got The Lion King still hanging in there. I don't even care what number it is. I know it's over $1 billion. I think it's outgrossed Avengers.
Yeah, really?
The
no
first
way.
one. Yeah, the first Avengers movie. I
think
the
it's first Avengers.
Yeah, not Endgame.
I'm about to say the movie that nobody likes.
Right, highest grossing movie of all time. But the fact that it outgrossed Avengers. Let me look at these numbers. Please don't tell me that. Oh, holy fuck! I'm looking at these numbers. Yeah, it has. It's outgrossed like most of the Marvel movies. It's like 1.6 billion right now.
Damn.
And nobody likes the movie.
Nobody liked. You didn't like it. I didn't even see it. But everybody
it's not even worth seeing it. It's like it's no reason for the movie to exist.
Everybody I say or I know that's seen it says they don't like it. They like the first one better. And why motherfuckers keep seeing this shit?
That's what I don't understand. Like, how does it make so much? I don't know. We're brainwashed.
Yeah.
Disney makes you watch whatever you want to. Number 5, Overcomer. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Why? Yeah, why? That's been in like the top 5 for like the last month.
We have.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what is that? Let's see what those numbers are. That better not be 1.5 billion or something. No, it said 24 million. So okay. It hasn't been released overseas. It's just strictly domestic. So whatever it is, it's doing pretty good. Number 6, Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw is very interesting. Let's look at the numbers on Hobbs and Shaw right now. Now, overall, Hobbs and Shaw has grossed $719 million. Pretty good. But here's the interesting fact I'm looking at. Domestically, it's only done $164 million. Decent, not bad, but decent. But overseas, it's done $555 million. So it's done almost, my math is off, close to triple what it's done. Yeah, almost triple what it's done overseas, what it's done here. So that just goes to show you a lot of people don't understand why they keep cranking out these Fast and the Furious movies, even though you probably checked out after the first one, but they keep making the movie. That's why they're popular overseas. They make all their money overseas. All these movies have been like that. The only one that has really struck a chord here in the United States is 7, and that's because Paul Walker died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, most of these movies just make the money overseas, and that's it. You know. So even here in domestically, Hobbs and Shaw is not like a gang. It ain't hit like gangbusters. It's doing decent. It's doing okay. What else we got? Your movie, The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Really? That's in the top 10?
Yeah, top 7.
No shit.
Oh,
that came out. It came out a while ago. Like
I think it just hit the theaters like last week when you said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good. Yeah, it's a good movie. People should go see that. That's a good movie.
I know you heard the rumors about your boy Shia LaBeouf, right?
No, what's up? Did he do something?
Nothing bad this time.
Okay.
I hate rumors, but I'm hearing a rumor that Marvel is looking at him for Moon Knight. Oh,
I think I heard. Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah. Honestly, Eli, that sounds like perfect casting.
I wish they do. That just so it pisses people off.
It would piss people off.
What about Keanu? We want Keanu. Boycott Marvel. This is just gonna piss people off, and I'm gonna laugh.
It really will. But at the same time, Shia LaBeouf as Moon Knight, that's perfect cast, because I always thought like the perfect person in my mind when I think of Moon Knight, James McAvoy in that crazy ass Split movie or whatever it's called. I can't.
Okay.
So where he was just playing like 50 million different personalities. I'm like, okay, you can't get James McAvoy because he's too big for a role like this. But who can you get? You got to get somebody crazy. And I'm thinking like Shia LaBeouf. He's nuts. Get him.
I guess because he's like isn't he like? I haven't read Moon Knight in a while. Like I remember he was like a cab driver, but then he was like a rich guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like an explorer? He went to Egypt or some shit.
Right.
But he was like disguising himself as all these different. He was pretending to be a bum too, wasn't he?
Well, he thought he was a bum. So he thought he was a billionaire and a bum. He didn't know what he was. So yeah, he's basically fucked. They don't know if he actually is the avatar of the moon god Khonshu or he's just fucking off his rocker and off his meds. They don't know one or the other, you know. So that's why I'm thinking that Shia LaBeouf can nail that role. Yeah. So and plus, he needs to come back anyway.
He's not that in the Peanut Butter Falcon. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's always been a talented actor. He just does crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
hopefully
that story where he was wandering around an Indian reservation doing freestyle raps and shit.
I think I saw that video. I think I saw a video. There's a video floating around him in Crenshaw doing like gang signs to a Crip.
So he's
I don't
doing
know if
shit.
it's true or not. I don't know if it's Photoshop. I was like, that's weird as fuck why he's doing it. Like, like he has Shia LaBeouf has an infinite hood pass. I'm like, wait, what?
So he's basically doing shit Robert Downey Jr. was doing like 20 years ago,
right,
when he was all fucked up on heroin.
Right. Then he's gonna have some comeback story to be like that, and then he's gonna get in Marvel's good graces, and then they'll clean him up and shit. So
yeah. They give him a good spit shine.
Right, and he'll tell this old story about he overcame adversity and all this bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
The Disney bath.
Right.
Disney will wash him.
Right. He's not Disney ready yet, but they'll get him there. What else we have? Scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's still.
You saw that too. You see a lot of movies, damn.
I do, man.
Yeah. Number 9, Ready or Not, and number 10, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I don't know why I want to say Doria, but yeah, Dora the Explorer. So yeah, that's the top 10. Crappy top 10. No one really cares. So other than it, that's all people saw. Everything else is like whatever.
Yeah.
So how do we want to do this next, Eli? We want to jump right into it?
You want to do Titans first because that's comic book related, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because we're gonna the Wu-Tang shit. We're probably gonna. That's gonna be the bulk of the episode.
I guess we'll get Titans out of the way. Fuck it. Yeah, let's get to this comic book shit.
Because I didn't watch Titans.
Okay, I saw it. Okay, so Titan, let's just jump into it. You didn't see it, I saw it, so I'm gonna just give my quick review of it. Titans did come out this week. It was Titans season 2. I don't know, Eli. This was a weird episode. It was just weird. They fought Trigon. All right, the last episode. I don't know if you saw like the last episode of last season.
I haven't seen any of them. So.
Well, Trigon or Triton or whatever the dude's name is, the devil, the DC devil or whatever like that. He popped up, but he was human in the last episode. In this episode, he actually is full CGI Triton form, and Raven fights him, and the fight takes like 5 minutes. You know, he's like in and out, and that's like halfway through the middle of the show. Episode, I'm like, okay, what the fuck else y'all gonna do? So it really felt like this didn't feel like a season 1 premiere. If it didn't feel like a season 2 premiere, it felt like a season 1 finale. It felt like this should have been the end of last season, because last season it just stopped. Robin killed Batman in his dreams, and then the show ended. Like, wait, what? Okay, now we open up with this, and Raven kills Trigon in the middle of the episode, and then they just go off and do other shit, like for the rest of the episode. I'm like, okay, so this is not a strong, like, if you want, you got to come harder than this, DC. You're trying to get people to, you know, buy in on this subscription service. You got to come out gun swinging. You got to come out with everything you got. This episode just felt lackadaisical. I don't know what I was supposed to expect from it. It had all the folks in there: Hawk, Dove, Starfire, Wonder Girl, Beast Boy, Jason Todd. He's still a dick on the show or whatever. So, Deathstroke does show up at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Deathstroke is being played by, you know, Deathstroke being played by, right?
No.
Okay. Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, is being played by the asshole brother on La Bamba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody knows the guy's name. The dude's been in like
Esai
a million
Morales.
roles.
I know his name.
You know his name. I don't know his name. I don't care what role he plays in. He's a great actor. He plays in a bunch of shit. But whatever he plays, he will always be the asshole big brother from La Bamba. And that movie was like 30 years ago. I don't care. He's always going to be that guy.
He was in Bad Boys with Sean, the original Bad Boys with Sean Penn back in the day, where they were in like juvie.
Right, not Will Smith. We're talking about the original one. I mean, like, the dude's been in like a billion shows, man. He's been all on TV. Great actor, always blends in. That's all he's seen. And matter of fact, he looks like Slade Wilson, even though, you know, he's Hispanic. He looks like Slade Wilson. Not a Hispanic Slade Wilson. He looks like Slade Wilson. Eye patch, the white salt and pepper beard, the whole thing. You're like, okay, this dude look like a fucking badass. Like, he's gonna beat the shit out of people.
So how was he? Like, does he do anything on there?
No, he just walks in the room with a whole bunch of guns.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
And just looks at him and that's it. And I think his butler is black. Okay, so I don't know, for those not familiar with Deathstroke and they only know him from the cartoon, Deathstroke in the comics also has a butler like Batman. His butler's name is Wintergreen. And I think Wintergreen in the show is black. I think, if that's Wintergreen. I don't know. All he said at the end, like, are we back in business, sir? Oh, and he was watching TV and he saw Jason Todd, Titans are back, bitches, and he just got triggered for some reason. So he has some kind of history with the Titans. So we'll find out about that. That was the only interesting thing about it, watching Slade Wilson show. The rest of the show, you can just throw that shit away. So that was the only interesting thing. Overall, get the episode, honestly, 2.5 out of 5. I really didn't give a shit about anything that happened in this episode. It just felt like, oh, guess who else was in the show? Bruce Wayne.
Who's playing him? Scarlett Johansson?
I wish that would have been a better choice than who they picked. This was the worst casting Bruce Wayne I've ever seen in any show. He showed up and I'm like, who the fuck is this? He like old as shit, balding, like, what? You're Batman? Like, okay.
So who was it, Paul Giamatti? Like,
that would have been a better casting choice. Like they just grabbed just anybody.
Danny DeVito? Like, who the fuck?
Did you do a lottery? Like, you say who
Paul
wants
Bruce
to play
Wayne?
Batman? I don't know. I've seen the guy in other roles before, but I'm like, when you hear his name, you're like, that guy's not Batman. I'm sorry. The whole time they're talking and they having like Dick and Bruce are having this whole conversation, like, that guy's not Batman. Okay, he looked like he could play Alfred. He should have been Alfred. So I don't know. Maybe they're playing fucking with me or something like that. So I don't know, DC. You gotta come harder than this. This was a weak episode. Maybe get better, 'cause like I said, Superboy hadn't shown up yet with Crypto. I think Slade's daughter is gonna be in it, because I see a chick with white hair with a eye patch. So hopefully the show gets better. But right now, that was not a strong episode. So that's all I got to say with that one. Now, can we get past, now that we got to some bullshit, can we get to the shit we want to talk about?
Sure, man.
Cool. Okay. I know this is a comic book podcast. Fuck all that. We're going to talk about a TV show now, because that has nothing to do with comic books.
Actually, it does.
It does, but we're going to have to make some wide leaps.
These motherfuckers were holding comic books and geek shit down throughout the 90s, way before, MF Doom and, bunch
they
of...
kind of made it cool for everybody else to do it.
Yeah.
But we'll get into, let's jump into it. Like I said, the show we're talking about is Wu-Tang, An American Saga. It came out. Now, Eli, I was completely confused about this show, because I know you told me about it. We were talking about the whole time. I saw the premiere. I was excited for it. I was thinking this was just going to be a movie, or maybe like a 3-episode miniseries. So when I saw 3 episodes of it, I'm thinking like, okay, I got time. Let me just go ahead and knock out this Wu-Tang movie. Watch the 3 episodes, watch the end, and that's it. So I'm watching it, and when we get to the 3rd episode, and I see to be continued, I'm like, wait, what? Like, they hadn't even got to the studio yet. They didn't even got the names. They didn't even get a record deal. They haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. I had a hard time recognizing who the fuck is this?
I had to watch it twice to realize who was who.
Yeah.
And so, because it was kind of confused. I think they should have did a better job of, or maybe they should. I'm kind of glad they didn't. I don't know. I'm kind of two ways about that, because watching again, it's clear as day who is who, because they set you up. Some people aren't clear. There are some people in here that you have to guess, and I'll name them in a second. But the thing about this show is that it's actually not a movie or even a miniseries. It's a full-fledged TV show.
Yeah.
It's a TV show about Wu-Tang. And I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, they're going like deep into the roots, like way back in the day.
Right, and then when I start thinking about it, I'm like, well, that actually makes sense. I mean, Wu-Tang has 9 members, not counting all the other guys that was, running around with them, like Capadonna, who may or may not be an unofficial member.
He was in the show, though. He was in there.
That's what I was going to ask you. Where's that Capadonna? Okay, so I'm glad you.
Well, yeah. Well, let's just get into it, and then because I had some comments about trying to figure out who motherfuckers were.
Okay, because I actually went on Twitter and somebody said, yeah, Chino was Capadonna. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
So
I just remember like when he was in jail, when RZA's brothers was in jail. What was his name?
Divine. I think his name was Divine.
Yeah. When he was in jail, and then the one guy goes, I'm Staten Island's finest. Fuck what you heard. I'm like, oh, that's Capadonna's verse from Winter Wars.
Oh, so that was that was Capadonna because they said his name was Chino. So okay, and Capadonna always calls himself Chino. So I don't know if that's his real name or I'm just saying. And matter of fact, they said it like when the first album came out. Capadonna is actually an original member, but he was in jail at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's why he wasn't on the first album. Well, did he have? I think he did have a verse on there, or he didn't.
On Winter Wars, yeah, he's got like the illest verse.
Okay, that's what I figured. I can't remember if he was on that first album or not, but okay.
He was on the purple tape, the Cuban Links. Winter Wars, I think
that was Cuban Links.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. So so that's the thing about Capadonna, like he was an original member. So technically he's in it, but not in it, but he's in it. So let's just start with the way this show starts off. This show starts off insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? There's no fucking way this shit happened. I'm just gonna spoil it for you. Whoever haven't seen the show, I'm just gonna fucking spoil it for you. You think you know Wu-Tang, but you don't know Wu-Tang. If this shit really happened, so apparently, I'm just gonna say it. Raekwon starts off the show. Raekwon the chef now, only built for Cuban Links.
And his name was Shala. Yeah. His name was Shala. I was like, who the fuck is Shala? The thing is, like, Raekwon was played by the skinniest motherfucker.
Okay, that guy. Right, he's a skinny dude, but that guy he's a good actor. That's actually Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I recognize it, but the chef, he was a chubby guy.
Oh, also that guy, anytime there's a Netflix show, a black Netflix show, he's on it. that guy is always busy. Like, I'm gonna get this Hulu money too. So
yeah. But I was like, Shala, and then he was hanging out with Power, and I'm like, okay, that must be Raekwon, even though this is before he got fat. So this is when he was struggling.
I'm thinking he was still fat. I'm thinking they just, like, look, you got to remember who produced the show.
I was just like, oh, this is when he used to be skinny, and then he got Wu-Tang, started making money, then he could eat,
Right. I mean, but even on the first couple of videos, he was still fat, even when he started, making on the first album. So I'm like, yeah. So this is like how you interpret it. Like if I make a movie and like, I don't know, Idris Elba plays me in the movie or some shit, cause written by Leroy D.
Yeah. Jason Momoa is Eli.
Right. Just because we wrote the movie, like, it's historically accurate.
He's got long hair and a beard. That
right.
counts.
8-pack, that's how it happened. And so of course we're gonna make some revision. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of stuff that has been revised to make this show, especially to make it a TV show. But let me start off.
Sorry, go. Yeah, so it starts off crazy.
So Raekwon, the chef, starts off the show by shooting up Ghostface Mama's house.
Yeah, with his little disabled brother in the house.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then that's how it starts off. But Raekwon gets even crazier that he actually burns down RZA's crack house later on in the show. I'm like, this the guy you got to join your group? He did all this shit. Like, but did you hear his verse on Incarcerated Scarfaces? We can let that shit slide. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
And also Power was the one who, I heard funded, some of their albums and shit, or their studio time.
And he also was the guy that drove the getaway car for the shoot.
He was driving. Yeah, he drove Raekwon to go shoot up.
And it was his idea to burn down the crack house. And then it gets even crazier because Ghostface the whole time is trying to kill RZA through this whole show. I mean, not RZA, Raekwon through this whole show. The only reason he can't do it is because RZA brother, puts a hold on him, basically saying he's cool with my brother, so you can't kill him. But when he gets locked up, he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill him. and has plenty of time to kill him in like every certain state. Like if one little bitty thing went wrong, this whole thing would change.
Yeah, and I like especially when he like gave RZA the gun to hold on to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And then-
RZA was covering for him the
finds
whole
it.
time. You know, like if for instance, if RZA would have said, yes, he was here last night, he dropped the tech off at my house that was still hot, that would have been it for RZA. I mean, Raekwon, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Because the
And
only
then
reason he didn't
Ghostface
do
finds it and says, "Ooh, let me get this," and then takes.
he then takes Raekwon's gun that Raekwon was trying to use to kill him.
Yeah.
And Ghostface takes the gun to kill Raekwon.
Yeah. So
But those are the guys that made Only Built for Cuban Links.
Those are the guys that are all in the club rapping on the Triumph video, rapping together.
Best friends.
Yeah.
I forgive you for shooting at my mama's house, man. Let's go make some music. Like, no, that does not happen. Sorry I burned down your crack house. Can I be in the group?
Yeah, burnt up all the money, all RZA's music.
His take Method Man's demo.
Who I didn't know. I was like, who the fuck is Shotgun? I never knew his name was Shotgun.
I never knew his name was Shotgun either. The only reason I knew that because the guy playing him is named Dave East. He's a popular rapper in New York right now, and he was promoting himself like months ago. I'm playing Method Man. I'm playing Method Man.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. No,
yeah.
okay.
So when I saw him, I was like, okay, that's Method Man. So yeah. But yeah, that's weird. It's who else was showing up in there? Okay.
ODB was in there.
ODB, whoever they got to play that guy, he nailed it.
Yeah, he pretty.
Like his mannerisms, the speech,
Yeah.
and all that stuff like that. Okay, that guy nailed ODB.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Oh, okay. So I know you heard about they have some beef going on with You God right now.
Right in real life.
In real life, yeah, not on the show, but in real life.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No.
So apparently, You God is not going to be in the show.
I was about to say, is he going to be where the fuck was he? I mean, we didn't see Deck. We didn't see Master Killer yet. Jizz, I haven't seen Jizz. I mean, at least I don't remember.
Jizz was in there. Jizz was in there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was at the funeral of RZA's cousin from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Big
yeah,
G.
I remember. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's who it was.
Yeah, that was Jizz. Yeah. So still not everybody has shown up yet. Like I said, there's so many members. You can't have a 2-hour or hour and a half movie and tell a proper Wu-Tang story because there's too many people in it. So you gotta have it's gotta be a TV show.
Yeah, this is like it's really getting deep and intricate into their past.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea that like Stapleton and Park Hill were like rival projects and shit.
Which kind of makes sense, you know, like certain neighborhoods, and because it's only so much that anybody can get. Like if somebody's got to be a top dog, so of course they're gonna fight over, you know, the scraps that they can get. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just an interesting show because I do want to talk about, like, even though we kind of jumped the gun with Ghostface, because one thing that got me with Ghostface was Ghostface telling that and that's how you know it's Ghostface, because he was telling a story from an Iron Man comic.
Yeah.
We've talked about this long before. We talked about this a bunch of times on the show, that Ghostface has extreme ties to Iron Man and Tony Stark because he was repping his shit way before Robert Downey was.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he has deleted scene in Iron Man, the first movie, and one of his songs is playing on the plane in Iron Man. So he has a song featuring Iron Man.
Yeah.
So of course he's gonna he's like, even if you don't know who he is, when you start talking about Iron Man, you're like, oh, that's him, Tony Stark. And the story he was telling, the comic he was pointing to, Eli, I had that comic.
Dude.
When he started talking, I was like, oh shit, I remember the comic. I didn't tell you what the fuck happened. So the story he was telling was about when Tony Stark got shot by his ex-girlfriend and got paralyzed. The name of the girl that shot him was named Kathy Dare. So y'all can Google this. It's up there. That's what happened. So Tony Stark got paralyzed, was walking around was in a wheelchair for like 2 or 3 years in the comics. You know, but when he was Iron Man, you know, he could fly around stuff like that. You know, like Rhodey Kane in the movies. So the girl name was Kathy Dare, and this was back in the 80s, you know, when he had like the porn stash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when you read the Iron Man comics, every book he had a different girl. So Kathy Dare was like, nah, fuck this. You know, you gotta pay attention to me. And she just walked right in, you know, past his bodyguard, caught him poolside, shot his ass in the like the stomach or back or whatever. And he was paralyzed. So I'm like, damn, it's fucked up. So yeah, that story he was telling was actually real, but I remember that book and I was like, oh shit, he knows his shit, you know. And then Raekwon shot up his house. So just interesting stuff. And then Ghostface was also nailing RZA's sister behind his back where he didn't even know.
I guess, yeah. I guess.
So all this stuff was going on, all this intricate stuff going on. It's like, whoa, okay. And so, yeah, just interesting. And just the whole way they were just telling the story, man, you could like really dig into their different personalities because RZA you can see that he's the brains of the operation. You know, he has bigger aspirations than everybody else in the group. They only see one thing. They only see their corner. They only see Park Hill. They can't see past that.
And because he got to go down south and live with his uncle, and you know, he got to get out of the city. You know, his scope of things, his view of the world was broadened when he got to leave the city and go, you know, live out in the country. And so RZA has that insight,
right?
You know, like, you know.
And you can tell that, so like you can say like all these guys have talent because that's the crazy thing about Raekwon. Okay, so and that's what makes so crazy about it. So Raekwon at the beginning of the show shot up Ghostface mama's house, hid his steel hot gun at RZA's studio, and then records a freestyle.
And then dropped a verse.
Right. That's how crazy this show is, you know, because that's the thing. Is like these guys have talent, but they have no direction.
Yeah. And then like the next day, doesn't like Ghostface show up and like, when'd you record that shit? He goes, oh, I recorded it like a month ago or something.
Right. And that's the thing. Like he just said something different. Like, oh, he was here last night. That whole situation would have been completely different.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that he was lying for him and covered for him because he was like, oh, that's one of my artists. You know, I can't throw him under the bus like that. You know.
Yeah, RZA was trying to keep the peace. Basically, he was trying to keep.
Because he knew everybody. He was even using his music as leverage for people. That's like when Method Man, when he talked to Method Man, he was like, give me a little time with this guy. Tell you what, if you give me time with him, I'll give you some free studio time or give you a free beat or something like that. He was like, okay, I'm going to step in the back and y'all going to beat this guy up, you know? So that's the thing he was doing. And it was just like his older brother was saying, Divine was saying, your head is too much in the music. You can't get focused with the other street life we're talking about. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. When Raekwon burned down their crack house, he was too busy listening to beats to pay attention to what was going on.
He had his headphones on and shit.
Exactly. He wasn't focused.
Because like Raekwon was trying to tell him, like, hey, he was trying to call him, like, yo, they're about to burn down your crib, yo, get out of there. But he was out his headphones on.
So, and it just brings out to their personalities what's going on. Because we can argue about what's true or what's not true. But what we do understand is that, okay, out of this show, we can understand that Ghostface and Raekwon are pretty much like the most street guys in the show. Yeah. And we listen to their music, like out of the Wu-Tang, because they all have different personalities. They're the most street guys in the group.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's so you expect, you know, the hard drugs, guns, stuff like that. You know, when those guys are rapping, that's what you're not gonna get, you know, fancy metaphors and clever wordplay. I mean, you're gonna get it, but you're getting like real life true stories with these guys and that you expect with them. So it makes sense that the story they're telling in this reflects it in the music, you know? Yeah. RZA's story, like I said, he's got his head in the clouds. He's not in the same mind frame as everybody else. And musically wise, he's the same way. He's always rapping about some other stuff, you know? Beat wise, he's like the main, you know, architect behind Wu-Tang. Who designed the logo? They said somebody designed the logo. I can't remember who designed the logo. Some guy.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a white guy. I know who you're talking about though. But he
hopefully they'll mention that in the later shows. You know? Because it seemed like the later show at first the show pretty much felt like, you know, The Wire. You know. Yeah. But by the time the third show came out, okay, let's try to bring this back to like a behind the music episode. You know.
Yeah. And you saw that like when they're at the battle rap, RZA does this rap about being a sperm. Right. You know, full of all this like really intricate scientific, you know, terminology and shit. No one like,
and you can't do that at a party. So the crowds are looking at him like, what the hell is he talking about? Like you can't do that at a party. That's completely.
And that was RZA was always doing, like when you know, perpendicular to the square. You know, he was always rapping like this like homework rhymes.
That's how you could tell like him and Jizza are, you know, cousins, because both of those guys kind of rapped on that type of level, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
And then then you got like Ghostface and Raekwon, and when like especially Ghostface, he's a storyteller.
Right.
And he had very vivid storytelling. He's like, okay, there's no way he could know this much about this shit unless he was actually there.
Exactly.
This
is not shit you can watch on TV and guess this shit. Yeah.
Because there's been songs where like I've like actually got shivered. Like I actually teared up I remember Maxine on I think it was Bulletproof Wallets when he raps about the kids being abused by the crackhead stepfather, and he comes in and starts beating the shit out of the mom, and then they all end up beating him up and throw him out the fucking window. I'm like, holy shit, that is so fucking vivid. But I remember like just that, how he told it, and it's kind of funny, that these kids are just beating the shit out of this asshole drug dealer stepfather and then they just throw him out the window, and then that all in together now, that hook at the end, like the kids are free, and it choked me up the first time I heard it. It was like, there's this very tragic situation, but there's also this liberation too. These kids are free and don't have to deal with this abusive asshole anymore. And
right.
then the cops never came. That's Stapleton, son. Like, yeah, they just threw this guy out the window and the cops never came. I was like, holy shit, So, yeah, Ghostface always had the very vivid style, especially with the storytelling.
So, and that's the thing of, I think, the appeal of Wu-Tang to begin with, because there's so many different personalities in the group. Like, everybody in the group is not a street guy. Everybody's not going to tell those vivid, drug stories like Ghostface can, or even Raekwon can. You're going to have guys like RZA talking about some weird stuff, or Jizza that's going to be a philosopher, give you some
rhyming about
lessons.
chess and shit, yeah. Rhyming about chess and shit.
Like, you're sitting here listening to Jizza, you're like, damn, I never thought about life that way,
Yeah.
He does that. Who else you got?
And then you had Method Man and Deck, who were like nerds.
Exactly.
About,
the thing about Inspector Deck, like he's gonna you just want like lyrical wordplay, couplets. He's gonna give you that. That's what his main job in the group. Yeah,
he's the first one out the gate. He's the first one on every song. Yeah, he sets it off. He comes out like this. This is who the fuck we are. He's he comes out with
Exactly. Just give us. You want the verse to set the mood. That's who you always get. Like he's like the leadoff pitcher, leadoff batter. I meant to say. Yeah. Yeah. And now Method Man can do that also, but Method Man is kind of a interesting. His part in the group is different because he has the most stage presence out of everybody in the group. Like, okay, like we were talking about RZA, was talking about being a sperm and fighting his way through other eggs and stuff like that. Yeah, that's some weird shit. However, Method Man, if he was to do a verse, he would grab the crowd's attention when he about it. He's the MC of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I saw Wu-Tang live once.
Yeah.
And Method Man pretty much did all the talking, and he stage dove. He got like a mosh pit going.
Yeah. For Wu-Tang. You can tell he has the most engaging person. He's the most charismatic of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I hang around. I see it on Facebook all the time. He's the sex symbol of the group. I mean,
he's been acting too.
And he's been acting too. Just the other day, he posted a gym selfie. He wants to be in a Marvel movie. He said this shit himself.
I heard he's a big comic book collector and shit, and he was on an episode of Comic Book Man and shit, and
he did it. Remember, he had a song on Luke Cage soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed up and he was like that Bulletproof Love song, pretty cool song.
That's right. Yeah.
Calls himself
Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider.
He made Johnny Blaze famous. Nobody even knew what the hell Johnny Blaze was. We was all saying John Blaze. John Blaze was slang for oh, that's hot, that's fire, that's something you want. And we didn't know where he came from.
Yeah, he smoked weed and shit.
Yeah, we didn't know. Oh, those shoes are John Blaze.
Yeah.
Not knowing that the shit came from. I knew it came from Ghost Rider. But nobody else knew that shit.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about Method Man. He was the charismatic group. Who we missing? He was that other guy. Master Killer, he was that other guy. They would just fill out. We need people to fill out the group. Red shirts, that's you guys. And so that's the thing about Wu-Tang. They just have so many different personalities, and the fact that the show gets to spread out, we get to see those personalities.
Yeah.
Like I said, Method Man didn't seem like he was in the street life gutter as much as Ghostface and Raekwon was, but at the same time he was around that and everybody knew him. Like he wasn't in it, but he knew about it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It seemed like everybody was pretty much, they had talent, but they were directionless, and it took RZA like vision to put this whole thing together. And I only knew he was vision because he called himself Bobby. I'm like, Bobby Digital.
Bobby Digital. Yeah.
He had a
Robert
nigga album,
Biggs,
Bobby
yeah.
Digital. So yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
His real name was Bobby. So.
Yeah. And like the fact that like at the end, the end of the third episode where they do the battle where Eric B and Rakim show up and there's and they lose the battle to that one like rap trio from Brooklyn.
Yeah, but they did like reggae or some shit or something.
Yeah, and they're all like, "What the fuck?" And RZA's like, "Well, they won because they were together." And like that's basically the seed there. This is where, because they were all there. There was Ghost, Ray, RZA, ODB was there. And like
Raekwon wasn't there, but he was in the crowd.
Oh, he was in the crowd. He was in the crowd with Power. Yeah. So that's like the seeds are getting planted. Like this is we're starting to see where this is going.
Right. Like if we just attack them one at a time, we're not going to win. The only way we can do it, we have to combine together. And it's kind of like that's the thing. Like this show had like symbolism, analogies going throughout this show. Like this show was trying to tell you that these guys were trying to kill each other, like in the first 2 episodes. But unless they combine together, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
They're going to tear each other down. That's all they're going to do. And that's all they've been doing.
And he was in jail. Like RZA's brother was in jail.
Yep.
And they're getting the guys from Brooklyn were fucking with the guys from Staten Island, and they're like, hey, I know you're from Park Hill, but I don't give a shit. We gotta stick together here.
Right. I know you weren't part of Staten Island, but we're from Staten Island. And I do want to talk about that. Just the fact that they're from Staten Island. I always thought that was weird to me. Like I said, Eli, I'm not from New York. But I know growing up with 90s rap, when you hear an East Coast rapper, you're thinking like what part of the hood they're from. You're like, oh, Queens. Okay. Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? Where Harlem at? Oh, so I'm thinking, okay, then these guys come out of nowhere talking about Staten Island. I'm like, there's black people in Staten Island? The fuck? But it was so weird because they had their own slang, they had their own clothes, it's like there was so many of them. So it was just weird. They just came out of nowhere, just repping a whole nother borough that nobody's ever heard of before.
Yeah. And Staten Island is kind of like, it is kind of tucked off in the corner. You know what I mean? Because you can only get to it from Brooklyn. Like it's not a taxi. You got to take a boat to Manhattan. Like Manhattan is like the New York. That's where all the clubs are and blah blah blah. That's the main hub is New York City is Manhattan. It's an island and shit. But Staten Island, there's bridges off everywhere else to Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, everywhere else. But there was no bridge going to Staten Island from Manhattan. There's the Verrazano connects Brooklyn and Staten Island, so you could never get to it from Manhattan. You had to take a ferry. So it was kind of out of the way and kind of a pain in the ass to get to unless you couldn't take a train there. You couldn't take the subway.
So it kind of made them underdogs just being from Staten Island.
Yeah.
And just the fact everything that you just said actually paints a bigger picture to me in the story. What they were saying, Divine, RZA's brother, was basically saying they have drugs coming in from this other place that they never come there because nobody pays attention to Staten Island.
Yeah.
So he had to, basically put all his money into it, all his connection, just to get this connection from there to Staten Island to make it work. Because if it wasn't for him, nobody would give a shit about Staten Island. And because he got that to make it happen, that's why they're all trying to kill each other because it's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
So interesting story, man. I'm loving the show, man. 5 out of 5 for me. Just those first 3 episodes.
Yeah. The only thing I could critique, I wish it was had more style, as far as lighting. It looked too much like a TV show.
I think that's I get what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I think that's the point of what they're trying to do, because I do feel like this show is trying to mimic other urban crime dramas. Like you got popular ones like Snowfall, Power, what's that other one that's a popular one? Basically those shows like that are super popular right now. And it did feel like kind of Wu-Tang is trying to ape that style a little bit over there, because I see on my timeline all the time for people that have seen Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang is better than Power, Wu-Tang is better than Snowfall, because they thinking it's the same type of show like those shows.
Yeah. But I was like, just give it some more because you could tell they're really getting into the details of the crime organization. Just think if this had some Godfather style lighting where they had more shadows. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that would go a long way instead of just it looking like just a regular old TV show. It's too static, I guess. The look of it. I mean, I like the story, and I'm into what's going on. I just wish it had more visual style. Like if it looked like what's the guy, Hype Williams? You know what I mean? How he would like really stylized videos,
like Belly or something.
Yeah, like Belly, and really fuck with like the set pieces and lighting. I think this would be like classic. You know?
Yeah, I think we're asking too much of Hulu. So. Yeah, but I completely agree with you on that. It could, like, visually could stick out a little bit more because, I mean, if you just look at, like, say, if we didn't know this was going to eventually be the Wu-Tang Clan, it would kind of just be like another generic crime show like Power or Snowfall or something like that. So
yeah.
But especially since we know who they're going to be. Like, let's say if we didn't know who they were going to be, we're just like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with these guys. I think Raekwon eventually is going to kill Ghostface, you know. Or...
yeah, no shit. Yeah, but yeah, like when I was at the end of the third episode, I was like, what? That's it? I like got super bummed out. Then I said, oh, stay tuned for next week's episode. I was like, whoo.
Right.
I was like,
I wanted more. Yeah. I more.
I was like ready to binge this shit, but I like that they're making us wait. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't need to take it all now.
Oh, changing subjects. Netflix is gonna eventually go that route also.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Honestly, I think, and actually, it should have been one of our topics also. Are we doing Wu-Tang? So we go to the next topic.
Sure.
Okay, 5 out of 5 for me. I know you hate the lighting on it looks like a TV show.
4.5 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah. Understandable. Completely understandable.
Or 4.8 out of 5. Fuck it. It's not. It's just
almost
very
there.
much. It's just a minor me being a film geek type of critique, you know.
Yeah, you like you critique these shows.
Yeah.
I watch them. You critique.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to talk the next topic because we do want to talk about Netflix because Netflix is going to a different type of. They're basically going the same route that Hulu's going, where they're going to drop shows every week. Eli, I prefer that. The reason I prefer that is because it's hard trying to binge watch these shows over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I know people can say, well, you can watch it at your leisure. You can watch it when you want to. No, you can't. You can't watch it at your leisure. Because if I don't watch it on the weekend, it will be spoiled for me by Monday.
Yeah.
And because Facebook loves, and Twitter and social media and everything, they love to spoil every single minute detail, and they don't care whether you watched it or not. If you complain about it, well, that's your fault. You should have stayed off the internet. Like, what the fuck, man? So now you
stay off the internet. If I stay off the internet, everybody would think I fucking died.
Right. I haven't seen Eli in 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just stay off the internet and avoid internet because that's where we get all our news from nowadays. You know, that's how a lot of us get in contact with, you know, our family members. So we just can't avoid the internet.
Yeah. That's how we get this podcast.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna avoid the internet and just not talk to Eli. I'm gonna just hopefully that he just answered the phone at the right time.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, to do this. So it's impossible nowadays. It's impossible to avoid the internet. You can't do that. So binge watching these shows is stressful. You gotta.
Yeah, it's exhausting, man. It's like every time I say, "Oh, that looks cool," then I find out it's not a movie and it's a series. Like, oh fuck. Yeah. I gotta watch this for 10 hours, like, man, and then I tend to not watch it.
Can I tell you a secret?
But
I sleep through some of the episodes and just let them play. Like, fuck it, I'll catch up. I did this shit with like all the Netflix Marvel shows.
With like Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist just slept through that shit. The best nap I ever had. Just wake me up when the last episode comes. So that's what I do. I just sleep through these shows because I try to run through them as fast as possible, and it's impossible to watch 13 shows in 13 hours. Can't do it.
I got shit to do, man.
Exactly. Plus you got to work. Plus you got to sleep. Plus you got to eat and do all the stuff, take care of family and all stuff like that. It's too much. So and then on top of it, not only that, I'm gonna tell you another bad part about it is that these shows don't sink in enough for you. Take Game of Thrones for instance. Now y'all, I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. But I see that y'all love Game of Thrones. But the fact Game of Thrones drops every week, it gives y'all a chance to discuss and dissect and break down the shows for a whole week, like each episode for a whole week. Yeah. Give you a chance to do that. We don't
2 months, Game of Thrones season. It lasts for like 2 months. And
Right, but at least you're talking about it for the whole 2 months. We didn't talk about any of those Marvel shows for 2 months. We didn't talk about it for 2 weeks. After the first weekend, we get like a good week out of it, and that's it. We're done talking about the show, and that's it. We don't break each episode down. We don't have discussions about them. We just watch them, move on, and that's it. This, if you have them break, like Wu-Tang, we wouldn't probably been able to break down these episodes if they just dropped all 12 episodes at one time.
Yeah.
But with 3 episodes, we got a chance to let them sink in, let them digest. That's one thing I did like about the DC Universe shows, what they were doing. Like, people were pissed off that, Swamp Thing was dropping once a week or Doom Patrol dropping once a week. I was enjoying it because it gave me a chance to, like, let those episodes sink in. Like, really.
I like that. I thought it was great.
Yeah, instead of just dropping everything at one time. So I was enjoying that. So, yeah, Netflix should have been did this shit, to be honest with you. That's how I feel. So, good on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's actually get to the video game section. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm just going to jump into it. Eli, a whole bunch of games dropped this week. I don't have money for any of them. Gears of War 5 has dropped, and apparently Batista is in the trailer.
I saw the commercial. Yeah.
So I guess Batista is in the game or not. I don't know. I plan on getting it, but just saying I get it right now. NBA 2K is already dropped. I do want to let all my listeners that are playing NBA 2K right now, please put the game down at least for a little while and hug your family. Because I know too many people that would just play NBA 2K and do nothing else. Don't go to work, don't sleep, forget their family, all kind of stuff like that. Like, don't let it consume your life. And that's honestly, that's the thing that people complain about video games. People think video games make people violent. No, video games just make people get too much into their own world, stuff like that. Like, Fortnite not gonna make you kill anybody. What it's gonna do is make you do those dumbass dances. That's what I'm worried about, So yeah, so that's the thing about those video games. So Eli, I can't get it right now, but give me to the end of the week. I'm getting paid. Got a bonus check coming on this check. I also have that Labor Day bonus gonna be on there, and I'm gonna get my first YouTube check.
Oh damn! Again?
No. I mean, I got approved for YouTube, but I didn't get an actual check. Now I'm actually getting a check this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
So you know what that means, Eli?
Titty bar?
Yep. Exactly. I gotta find a good one in Jackson where I won't get shot. That's all. You know what? I'm gonna just go past that. I'm not even talk about the next part. So let's move on to the next part of the podcast. So this part of the podcast, we're gonna talk about the comic books because it's the comic book bullies. I'm gonna talk about the comic books that came out this week, and we're just gonna dive right into it. Eli, can I start off with the X-Men minutes?
Yeah, the X-Men minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just jump minutes. So let me just jump into that. So
I'm gonna put my feet up.
Yeah, go smoke a cigarette, go take a shit or something while I just talk about X-Men all day. So this is House of X number 4. I think I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. So let's pretend like it's House of X number 4. So based on how the books left. Remember the last time we left off with the book, they were in this spaceship base that was building Sentinels that was over by the sun, and the X-Men ship got blown up. So this picks up where that book left off. Professor X is back in Krakoa, trying to make mental contact with Jean Grey because that's like their point of contact. And Jean Grey makes contact with Professor X and everybody else in Krakoa also. And Jean Grey is like, Professor, give me a status report. Jean Grey will come and give you a status report. Those no-name mutants that we brought, they're dead. They got killed, blown up. Nightcrawler has some internal injuries going on, but he's still able to make it. Cyclops is a little shake up, but he's still able to make it. Wolverine just had his whole arm blown off down to the adamantium. So he's gonna need a second to recover. You can see his his skin is forming around the adamantium, shit like that. And Jean Grey we underestimated humans. We didn't know they were going to take it this far to try to stop us from getting to them. And Wolverine just says, okay, are y'all tired of playing now? We see the humans are alpha blood. We need to be the same way with them. Take no prisoners because they're not. If we hesitate, they're going to take us out, like all of us out. So let's just go for it. So Cyclops said, okay, you know what? We're shaking up, but we're going to complete the mission. Nightcrawler, you're going to teleport. Oh yeah, Mystique's on the ship also. She's fine. So you're gonna tell it. So the Sentinel mother mole, the mother mole has 4 connections on it that's connecting it to the rest of the ship. So the X-Men's plan is to disconnect those connections. So they're gonna send Mystique to one. So Nightcrawler's gonna teleport Mystique to one, teleport Cyclops to another, teleport Wolverine to another, and teleport himself to another. So they gotta take these 4 columns out. Nightcrawler takes his guys out. Cyclops takes his guys out. Wolverine, when they get to him, it's just a bunch of bodies behind him, and he disconnects it. So you got 3 columns disconnected. They only got 1 left. Mystique is getting ready to disconnect hers, and she runs into the leader of the Sentinel base, and she opens up a hatch and throws Mystique out in space. Mystique's dead, done, out of there.
Damn.
So they got 1 little piece left that they couldn't disconnect, and if they don't disconnect that one, the X-Men lose. So the leader of the base is just like, okay, they cut it too close this time. We can't wait. We have to get a Mother Mole online now. So she throws a switch and actually uploads Mother Mole so she gets ready to start cranking out Sentinels and start killing everybody. You know, and so Cyclops is looking like, fuck, Mystique didn't complete the mission. We're looking at the Mother Mole coming online. We lost. And Wolverine, but he looks across the room and he sees Wolverine and Nightcrawler, and they look at him like, Cyclops, don't worry about it. We can complete the mission. We can get the mission done. Can you? Yeah, but it's a one-way trip. We do it, and we ain't coming back. Cyclops think about it. He was like, man, whatever it takes, no, regardless of the cost, get it done. Wolverine looks at Nightcrawler. He like, Nightcrawler, hey, Runt, you think there's something for me on the other side? You're like, you worried about your soul? You're like, I'm worried about what something like me can even have on the other side of it. He was like, Nightcrawler just praised to him. He was like, you know what? When we meet each other on the other side, everything's going to be all right. So what Nightcrawler does, takes Wolverine, teleports him to that Mother Mole part, which is like 30 feet away from the sun. Nightcrawler disintegrates instantly. Gone. Dead. Wolverine is still hanging on. And he's just clawing away at the last part of the Sentinel Mother Mole ship to, cut it loose. While the Mother Mole is talking shit to him the whole time. You mutants and you humans, neither one of you is shit. We're coming online. We're going to take out everybody. Wolverine finally cuts out the last piece. Mother Mole slowly falls. Gravity takes her into the sun. Wolverine jumps into her mouth and just starts clawing away at her the whole time while they both go into the sun. Dead. Gone. Cyclops like, fuck. We lost everybody. So Cyclops is trying to get to
Cyclops is still alive. What a bitch.
Yeah, he's still alive. He just watched all everybody die and shit like
what
that.
What a bitch. Fuck that guy.
So Cyclops, so Jean Grey's in the escape pod. Cyclops is like, hold that escape pod. I'm going to get to it as fast as I can. When he get there, boom, he gets shot. Standing over him is the Omega, or one of those Omega Sentinels. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't kill you, Cyclops. What I did is shot you with some nanites to take away your mutant powers. So he just laying on the ground, just hurting shit like that because it still hurt. And she was like, you know what? It don't matter. We blew Cyclops like, we blew up Mother Mole. It's done. So you can capture me. It don't even matter. Then the leader of the Sentinel base walks up, capture you. And we're not trying to capture you. You killed my husband. So she takes out a shotgun, cocks it, blows Cyclops' head off.
Well, good for him.
Damn, you heartless, man. So Jean Grey, gets that psychic feedback shit like that from Cyclops dying, in her head and shit like that. She's like, ah! While she's floating away in her escape pod, the other Sentinels come in and break in the ship. So when she turns around, she actually sees a Sentinel in front of her, and they just tear the ship apart. So Professor X's like, oh fuck, my whole team is dead. Like he sheds a tear. That's the end of the book. So
that's actually sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fucking awesome book, man. I'm pretty sure it's got to be retcon some kind of way. I'm pretty sure that's gonna leave everybody fucking dead, man.
Yeah.
And so pretty sure it's some kind of alternate timeline. They're gonna reboot Maureen McTaggart or something. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, but yeah, that was like that picture of Wolverine stabbing Mother Mole into the sun. That's the top moment in the comics for me this year. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm giving this book a 5 out of 5. This book is fucking awesome. Hickman is delivering on this one. And so,
all right,
that's all I got.
For Marvel, what should I read? What should I review for Marvel? You know what pisses me off? That fucking Immortal Hulk wasn't in my pull list this week.
That came out. You didn't read Immortal Hulk?
I did not. I did not read Immortal Hulk.
My God.
So I'm a little peeved about that.
I was expecting you to read it. That's why I don't read it. You're my cheat sheet.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess, Punisher number 15 was pretty fun. The war on the streets, Baron Zemo and his Hydra agents are searching, got New York on lockdown, teamed up with Wilson Fisk because he's trying to take out the Punisher. Punisher fucked up his country. And Zemo teamed up with some Thunderbolts and tried to take, he's like, I need some superpowers to help me take out the Punisher because Punisher's just too dope. And then the Punisher's like, fuck it. Well, if he's got superpowers or super folk helping him, he ends up teaming up with Black Widow, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, and Night Thrasher.
Which Ghost Rider?
Danny Ketch.
Okay. And I see they're trying to make Night Thrasher a thing again, so okay.
Yeah. And so it's on. This book is just more action. They're, Hydra agents are getting bucked. There's a final showdown between the Thunderbolts and the Punisher crew. I don't know if the Wrecking Crew, whatever you want to call it, Punisher's super crew, and fucking Zemo ends up taking off. Kidnaps what's that chick's name? She was an old friend from Frank's past. She's on the team too. He ends up taking her, and it's like, we're gonna do this alone. So that says to be continued. So he wants Frank Castle one-on-one. So, but other than that, 4 out of 5 was pretty cool. Just action-packed Punisher shit. Normally, I don't care about superheroes and Punisher, but this is just fun. They're killing it on this book. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Eli, this is gonna be a tough one because I kind of like skimmed through this book, so you might have to pick up a piece of it. This is gonna be Doomsday Clock. Doomsday Clock number 11.
Number 11. We're almost
there. We thought this book would never end.
Yeah, it's been what, 2 years now?
Yeah, it's almost been 2 years. I can't believe that. I completely forgot everything that happened in this book, but okay. Okay, that's why you need to help me out because I can't remember all the shit that happened. So basically what happened, the book starts off, somebody's about to launch nuclear codes. Were they going to launch the nuclear codes? Who were they launching nuclear codes at? I
think they were going to,
were they going to bomb Mars?
The country that Black Adam's in?
Kahndaq. They were going to bomb Kahndaq?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Let's say they are. They're bombing somebody. I think they're going to bomb Kahndaq. Anyway, before they can turn the key to activate the nukes, Batman shows up, breaks everybody's arms.
Yeah.
So throws Batarang, takes out the nuke, beats the shit out of people, but they eventually overwhelm Batman, take him down. While they're doing that, we're going to cut to Lex Luthor and Lois Lane. They're going to, I think they're going to the Hall of Justice or somewhere. They're going somewhere, but anyway, Lex Luthor is showing Lois Lane what he found. He said he found this picture. But there's an interesting thing about this picture because he saw the same picture throughout history. And it's the same picture, except it's a little tweak. Like one picture might be in 1938, same picture taken in 1950, same picture taken in whatever. Lois Lane like, how can that happen? It was like, well, because somebody is fucking with the timeline. That's what Lex Luthor said. Because I realized when Kid Flash came back, something with the timeline isn't right. So I tracked him back to see exactly what's going on. And he actually saw everything that was going on. He saw the crisis. So Lex Luthor knows all the crises that happen. Mm-hmm. Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Earth, Flashpoint, the Silver Age, Earth on Parallel Earths. Lex Luthor saw all this shit, knows everything, and knows what happened. He knows every time the Earth gets rebooted, it gets reset at the same time. So what's happening is that every picture is being set in a new crisis. They're like, oh shit, that changes everything.
And the picture is a picture of Dr. Manhattan and his wife before he got turned into Dr. Manhattan.
No. Actually, no.
Really? I thought
it
was John. His name was John. The picture is the name of John.
No. The name of the guy was actually, I thought it was Carver Coleman.
No, he found the picture in Carver Coleman's possession.
You're right. I fucked up. You're right. That was picture of John. Okay, so that's the picture he's finding. That's why he's seeing its sliding time scale. Okay, so he finds that out. Meanwhile, Superman is still recovering, from getting blown up in Russia and shit like that. He wakes up, and when he wakes up, he sees the U.S. Army all pointing guns at him and shit like that. Down on the ground, Superman, you're under arrest. Down on the ground. Superman put his hands up. He's like, look, if the president is upset with me, I have a conversation with him myself. And he just flies off at super speed, like ignores them. When he finally gets to the White House to talk to the president, outside is Black Adam and everybody he recruited from Kahndaq, ready to storm the White House. Because I'm thinking that's why he must have found out that they were going to nuke Kahndaq, and he's like, fuck them, just going to overthrow the government. You know, Superman's right there. He like he talks to Black Adam like, I don't really know exactly what's going on right now, but I do know that you guys are not about to walk into the White House. And Black Adam's like, Superman, get the fuck out of my way. I'm gonna tell you one time. Superman is being Superman. So Black Adam smacks the shit out of him. Knocks him into like the street or whatever like that. And then they start fighting and shit like that. Meanwhile, Dr. Manhattan, who sees the future, is like, okay, I'm about to meet Superman in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. As soon as he saw that, Superman looks up, sees Dr. Manhattan in all his new glory. They show a close-up of Superman's face, Dr. Manhattan's face, Superman's emblem, Dr. Manhattan's penis, and, you know, the world.
I thought that was his asshole. But...
One of them. and basically the book ends with Dr. Manhattan say, this is how the universe ends, some shit like that. Because the whole thing is building up to Superman versus Dr. Manhattan. So, yeah, that's the book. Oh, honestly, after I read X-Men, this book was kind of like all over the place. It wasn't like it's super focused as the other books were before it. But I was kind of a little underwhelmed. It's still pretty awesome with the shit going on, but it felt like it was a setup for the last issue, which is coming.
Yeah.
Which we know that's going to just blow everybody's socks
like,
off.
it's a little confusing. Like, I had to go back and kind of, okay, what is Ozymandias doing now?
I completely forgot about Ozymandias. Yeah, because he told the girl she doesn't exist, so she faded out in oblivion.
Yeah, and just like how he tricked everybody into all this happening, basically.
Right, but at the same time, he also said that he didn't do too much tricking because he said some of the shit he found actually did exist. Like the Superman theory and how Dr. Stein tricked that boy into becoming Firestorm. He like, that shit happened. All he did is just put the information out on display.
Yeah, and how he used mime and marionette. Why he was using mime and marionette?
Yeah, because their baby was going to be adopted by Dr. Manhattan's somebody.
Somebody.
Aunt
or something. Yeah.
We'll ask Gomer. He knows. So, yeah, like I said, a whole bunch of shit happens. And then, like I said, Johnny Thunder is still locked in jail with the Green Lantern. But in Ozymandias jail. And Alfred feeds Rorschach pancakes. Whatever. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, you just jumping all over the place with this. And be focused. Concentrate on one thing, you know. But I think that's what the next book is for. It's gonna be insane. So that's what we're waiting on. But, yeah, I'm going to give it like a solid 4 out of 5 on this one. So.
Well, hopefully it'll be out by Christmas.
I doubt it. Jeff John's got too much shit going on, so. But that's all the books I got. So whatever you got, you can go.
Okay, well, I'll just wrap it up. I did read Batman, Ninja Turtles, and I did read Savage Avengers and the new Conan. That DC was quite the disappointment, but I just think that whole deceased is just I. So
it has some bright points to it.
It's I think it's I. But I'll go with my book of the week, Spawn 300.
Oh, fuck, I forgot that book came out. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Spawn, man.
Yeah, this big, thick, meaty book, just with all this girth. Is like a double, triple issue for $8. Like 70 pages, 72 pages or some shit.
Shit, like all real pages?
Yeah, all real. All
I'm thinking
one
it was
story.
like 20 pages of story, and then the rest of it just Todd McFarlane just drawing shit.
No, there is some shit in the back with like behind the scenes, and there's like a thing with where you show every cover ever from every Spawn cover. That was kind of cool and shit, and just like behind the scene notes and shit. A couple pages, like maybe 5 pages, but this is all one story. It ain't like DC 1000 or Action Comics 1000, like a bunch of short fucking 2-page, or Marvel Comics 1000, short 1-page stories for $10. This is all one story. So taking it back to the 90s, Spawn, biggest creation, still kicking 30 years later,
And apparently, as far as independent comics, this is tied for the longest running independent comic, without being canceled.
Yeah.
The number one is Cerberus.
Oh, okay.
That Barbarian Aardvark.
Yeah, that Aardvark, yeah.
Yeah. Who actually appeared in a Spawn comic.
And Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, he gets around.
Yeah.
Actually, that guy got Me Too. That's why he had to cancel the book. He's a whole thing. Look that guy up on YouTube. That guy's a fucking asshole.
Is he? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, fuck that guy then. I never read Cerebus anyway, so.
Oh, that aardvark is fucked up too. If you read that aardvark, you would understand why that guy is fucked up. There's no way you can make a story like, are we talking about aardvark? Go back with Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah, Spawn, yo. So this was actually really cool. Spawn 300. It's this big, huge one story. Now I haven't been following Spawn in a while.
Nobody has.
You know? I mean, a few years back, I read some books about him and his dad. I thought were pretty cool, but I was way big into Spawn back in the day. When he first dropped, that was my shit.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, I actually followed him for a while. I got into the cartoon. I actually liked that movie when it first came out.
I still don't know how I feel about that movie.
Hey,
it had some awesome shit and some stupid shit all at the same time.
Yeah, it hasn't aged very well, but at the time, I threw it on. What else do we have? It was Batman Forever.
Hey, first black superhero.
There you go. Yeah. So basically, it's Todd McFarlane writing most of it. There is a guest writer, Scott Snyder, actually wrote one of the chapters.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. But he teams up with a bunch of old classic Spawn artists. We got Greg Capullo, J. Scott Campbell, Jerome Opeña, Jason Sean Alexander, and Todd McFarlane pretty much wrote and inked most of the book.
Wait,
Scott Snyder.
did he draw anything?
Oh, he drew a bunch. He did, but he inked it. He inked it though. He's the inker, but he had other artists.
Okay.
So this is broken up into 5 chapters. Each artist getting their own section, even though it's one cohesive story. But basically, there's some weird forces on Earth that are making people commit violent acts all over the world. And Spawn is gearing up to kick some ass. I guess he's gone public. People know who Spawn is now. I guess that's what's going on. But basically, it's just him, going around gearing up to kick some ass of whatever's doing this to the world. It's happened. It's like this global phenomenon. People are just going nuts and murdering each other.
So like I said, I haven't read Spawn since the 90s. So he's left past that little alleyway with the bums in New York?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
He's hanging with some kid,
Okay.
So, but he just goes around and basically preparing for whatever's coming, and he gets at one point he gets into a fight with Violator. We see some old characters appear: Cygor, Overkill, Redeemer, Nyx. I don't remember.
Overkill.
Overkill.
Because he wanted to make sure he didn't get sued by Rob Liefeld because they made him together.
Overkill. Yeah, Overkill.
Whatever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Nyx showed up. She became becomes a hell spawn, and she's known as She Spawn. So this is a new thing. I guess this is like the new thing now. She Spawn. New character from Nyx, who was like one of Spawn's old allies back in the day. So that's something new. But even though it's one story, it is sort of a celebration of the legacy of this character. Paying homage to the past while still moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
The art is really cool. Capullo's art, all the artists, it's all classic Spawn artists. My only small critique is, I guess, the wordy narration. That cheesy.
McFarlane's always been like that.
Yeah, that cheesy McFarlane uber goth writing. The narration that he, the boxes, the deep in the decaying cryptic urban hell. That over dramatic, writing that he's known for.
Yeah, you think he's gotten better since then, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but you kind of laugh at it at the same time. But my main thing is it got a little too wordy, and those boxes were covering up the art. So that's my main critique.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was cool. It brought me back to the day of when I was into this shit. Back 20 years ago I remember I was on board with them. I was sick of Marvel. I was sick of X-Men.
Here's the thing. I like Marvel. I like DC. When I read Spawn, they was like, oh, there's some different shit.
Yeah.
You can't get this from Marvel and DC.
Yeah, that's how I was like, because I got bored of superheroes. I stopped reading the Hulk. I stopped reading Punisher, and it was all back then. X-Men. It was everything was X-Men. X this and X that, X Factor, X, all this shit was X-Men was just so huge, and everyone was just in it, and it just wasn't my thing. And here comes Spawn, is fucking demon, and there's blood and gore and guts and demons and shit. And I was like, this
would never happen in Marvel.
Yeah, it was going places that Marvel or DC wouldn't. That's why I dug on it, and I stayed with it for a long time. So, say what you will about McFarlane and about this character and about the comic business sort of flatlining in the 90s and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But this is still one of the most successful independent comic book creations of all time.
And after the next issue, it will be the most successful.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got? What? We got Ninja Turtles and like Walking Dead. It's like the only other independent.
But they're not continuous. Books. They'll stop and start.
Yeah, but I'm saying like comic books that aren't Marvel or DC that have made this big of an impact on the culture.
And that's the thing. Like you need the independent scene to make that big, that big splash.
Yeah.
Because they kind of drive what I want to say, like the influence of, I don't know what I want to say. I don't know, just energy that the breathe life, inspiration into life. Like they need that because sometimes Marvel reading another Batman beat the shit out of Joker or Spider-Man beat Octopus, that can get old really fast. But when you have new ideas popping out of nowhere that you can't get from the big two, that's something new, especially when it breaks loose, like Walking Dead, a zombie comic.
Yeah.
You think that's something that should have been a no-brainer, but came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's still going. I mean, the comic has stopped, but the show, there's like how many TV shows going, and it's created this phenomenon. I mean, the independent scene is where you can take bold choices and do things that you can't with the big two. Mm-hmm. And Spawn was one of them.
And then the big two would turn around and copy that shit if it gets big enough.
Yeah.
They had a Spawn ripoff. What was the name? Dark Watch or something?
Was it the black guy?
It was a
black
guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm not reading this shit.
Yeah.
He stood like Spawn. I think he
looked like Spawn, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, Marvel, you can do better than this. Or maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, my thing about Spawn is that Todd McFarlane artwork. Like Todd McFarlane draws anything, I was buying this shit. Like he was drawing Spider-Man. That's the reason I got into Spider-Man so much, because he was drawing it.
Yeah,
like, I saw that picture of Lizard, just about to chomp the shit out of Spider-Man. I was like, oh, I gotta get this shit.
Mm-hmm. Because he got me back. Because I remember, as a kid I liked Spider-Man, but when he took it, I was like, oh wow, Spider-Man looks dope.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like people get hung up over these characters like that. It's never really about the characters. I mean, it's always been about the creators for me. Mm-hmm. Like if a shit creator writes a Spider-Man book, I'm not gonna read it. But if Todd McFarlane does something, or Jim Lee does anything, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. I mean, I started reading comics again back in 2012 or whatever, 2011, whenever it was, when a new 52 dropped, because Greg Capullo was drawing Batman.
Right, and I've never heard of Greg Capullo before, but I was looking at his drawing. I was like, damn, that guy reminds me of Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, the guy that used to draw Spawn is drawing Batman now?
Right.
I'm there. So you can say that being a fan of Spawn got me back into my present, comic book reading.
Right, because Todd McFarlane may be the greatest Batman artist of all time, and he's barely drawn Batman.
Yeah. I mean, Spawn was supposed to be the anti-Batman.
Right.
He's like, he wanted to do Batman, but he wanted to make a cool Batman.
Right. And did you read the Batman versus Spawn book?
Way back in the day, yeah.
Oh, I love that book. I used to read the cover because Frank Miller wrote it.
Okay. Yeah, but the thing about he created Image with all these other artists, and a lot of them came and went, and a lot of these books came and went, and they were getting delayed and all that shit. But Todd McFarlane focused on Spawn. He gave all his energy to that book, making that, hiring other writers, making, taking critiques and making it, what it was, and making it a success. And then he went into toys and just built this empire, but around Spawn. Spawn was the seed.
But the toy business made him like stupid rich.
Yeah. But Spawn was the seed of all that, and it's always been his baby. So here's to McFarlane for 300.
I mean, you can make the argument that Tom McFarlane may be the Stan Lee of our generation.
Yeah. I would not argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got the Capullo variant cover.
Oh, I gotta check that out. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5, just because like I said, all the boxes were covering up all this awesome artwork.
Yeah,
but it's still a lot of fun, and you know what? I might get the next issue, just to see where this goes.
Okay, if you get the next issue, I will too, and we'll review Spawn. Because now you make me want to. That just make me feel like a 13-year-old again. Like, oh damn, we can talk about Spawn again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit! All right. So, any other books?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, cool. If you listen this long, definitely like, share, and subscribe. We have our other podcast. We have our sister podcast, Geek Sav. Definitely listen to Comic Cast, because like I said, they're going to review a whole bunch of more books than we did, because we talked about Wu-Tang all fucking day. So let them review books. We also have this Geeks and Comics. This Geeks and Comics, they don't know. They're confused right now. They either want to be us or review book. Goma want to be us, and AK Dave wants to do something completely different. So it's fun hearing them war against each other.
Don't they just do previews, though?
They want to do previews, but Goma doesn't want to do previews. Goma wants to do something else. A.K.A. Dave wants to do previews. So they're having like the Civil War or where the rest of the show is going right now. It's really funny. I like listening to it just for that. What else we got? HULU TV, Get Valiant, Instruments of Destruction. Pretty sure some more Transformers books coming out. And yeah, like I said, a whole bunch of books coming out. We don't know what's going to happen next week. Pretty sure some stupid shit will happen. We'll just kind of play it by ear and go. Definitely another Spawn book, maybe. Who knows? Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We will talk to you guys next week. Same bully time, same bully channel.
But still, if one of their men is so ferocious, don't worry about it. The disciples are now well aware of the fact that my kung fu is unbeatable. Brother, we trap Shaolin here. You must take command. Don't resist. You are a traitor. Avenge Master Death. I rely on you.
That's when my heart turned cold. I'm a product of the block. We used to cook the product in the pot, add soda, turn the product into rock. It's in my DNA, you see it started with my pops. In his heyday, he probably put your father in the box. In my heyday, I probably put the product in my sock. Ain't no vacate, the props become a problem when it's hot. Mayday, mayday, but no charge. I'm nutty with the bars, that's a payday. So bruh, this ain't even a bar, this is AA. Back up in the trunk with the AK. Each line pack a fabulous punch, no diss to Ray J. Nah, see I don't dab and I don't nay-nay. Got bottles coming out, warriors come out and play, ayy. Just know I'm grade A, get a slice of bread. Okay, some hoods love me, someone like me dead. Okay, my goon hungry, his eyes is red. But he clumsy, go oops upside your head.
We at Dro and Poet suckers, Range Rovers flood up the rucker. Me 1,000 chains on, I got put on with luck. Evergreen baggies, selling capsules, running the classroom. Slick bastards getting cream, yelling cash rule. Smell like Pacquiao, but under the leather, hold a Mac 1-0, pumping up in 1 Oak, the Grammy hour. Coke chemist, taste the flow, it's numb knees and copper rum blunt off the get back, salute me, then one, I'm out, off to the races. My blazers ain't patient, they want to spray shit, get elephant blown for stalking race shit. Jammies carry nitrogen, light up a session like I'm on Vicodin. Fuck with the righteous men and we fighting it. Yeah. The rebels is here, medals and gear, getting proud of a medical, that's incredible. The flyers, the most notorious, why is half of those liars off niggas' heads like papaya.
Yo, before I poly, red light in the Bob Molly, so I can cipher God bodies from the John Gottis. Everybody a boss saying they time's money. Women injections leave them with the odd bodies. Babies having babies, wearing Old Navy, robbing old ladies. That's a product of no home training. I show you the ropes, I'm narrating Al Heyman. I told Lighty if I hate him, I'ma violate him. Man, I'm not a shooter, but I know shooters. And if them shooters don't shoot up, I go suit up. Red man and the W is televised. We ain't them niggas, media telling hella lies. This a campfire of a vampire. I don't sleep when hot beats through the amplifier. And every nigga got something to say. I'm like, yeah, okay, y'all corny anyway. Doc. People say love is just an energy. Dealing with the thing.
My team hard, making them lean hard. You see more riders lined up than you see at a theme park. My queen hot, making the scene pop. Routine, online gangster.
geniuses, I'm giving them screenshots. Hard white lyrics to guard right. Twisting the tail, sick as hell. Christian Bale from the Dark Knight. On sight, fogging your fog lights. Your dogs like Swayze at the Roadhouse, down for the bar fight. Like this, like a IG pic. Before the Seahawks 24, Lord, I've been on that beat shit. Pussy you whack, something like a cheap trick. Mike in the Billie Jean vid, I got the streets lit. Shining star, find another, you gon' find it hard. Certain death that could walk off with minor scars. Firing squad, defying the odds. And the flow solitary, just me behind the bars.
Sparks up the bulletproof, game face intensity, applied ingenuity, tech criminology, sharp mathematically, certified, recognized by every eye worldwide. Back to the streets of the do or die hustler. I understand politics, consistent, never quit. Superstar, write hits. Come have a listen, y'all. Getting money, flipping it, scripting it, record it. Fans that applaud it. Ship 100 mil, they bought and took a snort of it. Quotes like heroin, coke mixed with dope. Have an overdose, cardiac, a lost spin the beat back. Watch the magnetic attract them, club pack them. They stiff cause the wisdom is swift when I'm attacking them.
Out of everybody getting these deals, you got all these black ass motherfuckers getting deals. These pussy ass motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? They're getting deals, and everybody got a deal, and everybody happy and shit. In Wu-Tang, we the best.